What's up, guys? It's Drew. I'm back, and as you can see, everything's different. I'm just gonna jump right into some sound samples. You can hear the new board, and then I'm gonna go and talk about it. Alright, guys, so you already heard the board in action. Man, as you can see, I don't have the HX Stomp. I still have it. My best friend's just using it. He's building a board right now, so for the time being, he's going to be playing with that, which allows me to experiment a little bit. Now, there's nothing wrong with the HX Stomp. I was just tired of everything being all-inclusive on one unit and everything having to rely on that one unit, switching everything for me and providing all the delays and reverbs that I wanted. It was just getting cumbersome, and I was just ultimately just getting uninspired. So I love having a pedal board and plugging straight into an amp. Yeah, this is basically allowing me to do that. With this setup, everything's really customizable. I don't have to worry about limitations of blocks or DSP, and it's just, I'm loving it, guys. I'm kind of with the simplifier, simplifying everything. I'm going back to the basics. And speaking of the DSM and Humboldt simplifier, I ran into these guys at NAMM to try the product. It's amazing. Incorporating it here in my own board is even better, man, because NAMM's not the best place to try products all the time, but the amount of features and practicality and overall functionality that they packed into this tiny little pedal is phenomenal. And for the price, you cannot beat it. I'll just say this, as far as compared to the HX Stomp and the Iridium, it definitely holds its own. Now, I've been playing with it for a couple weeks now, and at first I thought, like, okay, it sounds great. It's more of like a clean pedal platform that I can just kind of plug everything into, and it sounds, it gets my effects out there, and it sounds decent doing it. But upon further tweaking, man, I just really got a beautiful amp tone out of it, and once I started incorporating everything else, I was like, wow, this thing is responding exactly like an amp, and it's great with the XLR outs. It's wonderful. Please check that out. If you're on the fence about getting the simplifier or not, then definitely go for it. It's definitely worth it. It's not going to be a disappointment. I will say some people may prefer the Iridium better, but at this point in the game, man, whatever you go with, just make sure it fits your workflow and your pedal board, obviously, and then first and foremost, your budget, man. The simplifier is an amazing option for a phenomenal price. You're not settling or anything. by going this route. I firmly believe that. All right, so to quickly talk signal chain, I am, as you can see, testing out the Deep 6 by Walrus Audio. That's the V3. It's fantastic. I was running without a compressor for a while, and it was great. The Harmony Rebel is an amazing guitar, and the gold foil pickups are beefy yet still clear. But that just kind of this compressor cleans up my pickups and brings me more towards that single coil territory, which I'm used to because I've always played a Telecaster. So I miss that single coil sound that I get with all my drives and with the delays and reverbs. It's just different. But anyways, so the compressor is amazing. Now I got to figure out how to fit it on my board. So the brains of the operation here is the DPC-5 Gen 3. I've had their earlier stuff years ago. I've known people who've played it, and it's amazing. Everything that Disaster Area puts out is really high quality and very intuitive. And I had the MC6. The MC6 is great. There's nothing wrong with it. Go for it if you're looking for a MIDI switcher. It's amazing, and the editor is dumb simple to use. It was smaller. It could change my analog pedals, and I had the ML5, but it was just taking up a lot of space with the MC6, so I sold both of those, got this for significantly cheaper, and it's doing exactly what I needed to do. So I use it kind of like a catch-all, not specifically creating patches for songs, just kind of whatever song I'm playing, I just have specific sounds that I can recall at any given moment and fit the need of that song. So I'm just gonna go through the order really quick. So the Petty John Chime, which is an amazing drive, y'all know how I feel about that. That's in loop 1. The Golden Face by Emerson, I just call it the Gold or the Clon, is fantastic. I've had the M drive again years ago, and that was fantastic, and I wanted it back again, but I also wanted to try something different, so I went with the Golden Face, and no regrets there. The third pedal in the loop is the 1981 DRV, a fantastic higher gain distortion or overdrive, however you're using it. In this case, I'm definitely using it more towards the side of distortion, and it handles it phenomenally. If you play at church or ambient settings, don't be afraid of the DRV. I think it's perfect. It hits lead lines, like Jeffrey Cundy. He runs his amps hotter and then just kind of boosts his tubes and whatnot, and overdrives his amps with his pedals. And I think this nails that tone without having to have your amp too hot. So don't be afraid of that. You see a lot of people using it, and it's for a good reason. And then out of the DPC-5, I'm running into the input of the simplifier, and then out of the effects loop into the D1 delay, which is a phenomenal delay. Watch Mark Johnson's video on that. It's very comprehensive. It's honestly amazing what they pack into this tiny little pedal. It's amazing. It's got great sounds in it. Is it going to replace a timeline? Yeah, if you're just looking for straightforward delays, it will. It can definitely hold its own against a timeline. But I think if you're like in love with the timeline, I don't know that it could fully replace it for you. I think it'd be better as like an addition to the timeline. Kind of like how some people have the smaller Strymon pedals, like the Dig and whatnot, accompanying the timeline as well. But with that MIDI, it's so powerful. That could be your only delay, and you would be completely fine. I think Mark Johnson actually has said that before, and so it's verified. Anyways, so after that, I'm going stereo into the Specular Tempest, and then out of that, stereo into the Jet Revelation Reverb V2, and then stereo back into the Simplifier. Now, the Specular Tempest, phenomenal. I seen it going for like $500-600 the other day on Reverb. Do not spend over $350, $360, maybe $380 on this pedal. They'll come back in stock eventually. Don't go spending almost double the price for this pedal. It's amazing, but just be smart about it. And then the Revelation Reverb is one of the best reverbs for ambience that I've ever used. And then from the Revelation Reverb, just to reiterate, I go stereo back into the Simplifier, and then XLR balanced outputs in that tiny enclosure, which is beautiful. Strymon, where you at? What you doing, man? Strymon does have buffered outputs on the Iridium, which is okay, but you still kind of need a direct box just to make sure everything's ran clean to your PA. But this just has it right in there, and it has TRS outputs. Striving, how come you didn't put TRS outputs? Or I'm sorry, not TRS outputs, but the 1/4 inch outputs on the Simplifier. But for the Iridium, they should have put, like the HX Stomp, balanced TRS outputs on the Iridium. I don't know why they didn't. I guess we'll never know. Alright, and so pretty much what I have with the DPC5 is just an increase in gain. I go clean, kind of a mid gain, and then my high gain on C, and then D is kind of a preset patch that I'm just experimenting with right now. So nothing really on there right now. I was using it as a global tap tempo because this does have the smart clock in there, which is like it's a $150 or a couple $100 for the smart clock on its own. So for it to be included in the DPC5 is just amazing. I don't have to have anything externally, it's just there. Alright, so in the first loop, what you're getting is the Petty John. So that was the first tone that you heard, and then the second tone was just the golden face, and that's on the B setting right there. And then in the third one, it was just the 1981. Now, I really wanted to rely on one overdrive to do one thing. I didn't want to stack overdrives to get sounds. That's how I've always done it. Just this time around, I just wanted to set in one of the best settings or sounds that I could pull out of that drive and let the drive do that. And ultimately, I'm really happy with the outcome. I was using, like I said, no compressor, and it was great because I was getting a lot of the gain push from my pickups, but I like this method instead, having a cleaner input or cleaner signal going into the input of the drives, and then letting the gain come from the drives, because I buy these drives because they have their own specific sounds or quirks or tricks, and I want to display that in my sound. Alright guys, so going forward, I did fix the YouTube issue. I had to get a whole computer just so I can upload a video. Like literally I do everything on my iPad except now because of YouTube changing their editor, or not editor, uploader. I had to get a computer just to do the upload process, which was kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. I'm back. I'm gonna be putting out videos. Don't think like, oh, if you had the HX Stomp, then don't talk to me anymore. That's not the case at all. I love talking tone. I love talking gear. Whatever it is, message me. Follow me on Instagram, Drew's Tone Talk, and I will do individual videos for each of these pedals going forward. This one, I just kind of wanted to update you guys on the massive changes that I've made to my entire setup. Alright, and that song that I was playing was Dance With Me by Jesus Culture. It's one of my favorite worship songs of all time, and it's just so dynamic, musically and lyrically and spiritually. It's one of the best songs to me that I've ever played and had the pleasure of playing on a stage in a congregation. Alright, so I'm just going to run through those tones again, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and we'll chat about it. Alright.